Hello and welcome to another video tutorial for the Miraf SongBook application. In today's episode, we'll take a look at the mobile version for iOS operating systems. Specifically, the program supports iPhone, iPad, and MacBook devices. Miraf SongBook for Windows is still the main platform where you can create your databases and songbooks, prepare your songs, and then distribute them to your various devices running either Android, iOS, or macOS. This video tutorial will be demonstrated on macOS, but the version works exactly the same on iOS for your iPhones or iPads. In this video course, we'll go over how to operate the app, how to configure it, how to transfer your databases, and you'll learn all the important information you need to run this mobile application. So let's get started. I've installed the Miraf SongBook app from the Apple Store and will now launch it. Upon launching, you'll see this sample database. It's just an example to show how the program works, allowing you to try out some basic settings and controls. Afterwards, you can transfer your own databases and start using the program. In this section, we see the list of songs you've imported into the app. At the top right, we have a menu to control the application. First, let's look at how to open a song. I'll select the first one here, click on it, and as you can see, the song opens like this. By default, the control panel only shows basic icons, which may vary depending on whether you're using iOS or macOS, but you can customize which icons appear in this panel. Let's start by enabling all icons. I go to Settings, Display Buttons and enable all the buttons like this. Then I return to the song using this back arrow. As you can see, all the buttons I need for control are now visible. The first icon always returns you to the previous page. This one opens the settings menu, which we'll go through in detail. This drop-down menu contains additional functions we'll also describe. Here, you have quick transposition buttons. These first four icons are always present in the program by default, but you can toggle the rest on or off. Now I'll switch the song to display in a single column using this icon. You can toggle between one or two columns. This icon here is for automatic text scrolling. I'll change some settings. Set the scroll speed to 20 milliseconds and the jump to 2 pixels. Returning to the song, when I click this icon, the text starts to scroll automatically. I've deliberately set it to scroll quickly so you can see it better. Of course, you can adjust the speed to whatever suits your needs. The scrolling settings are transferred from the Windows version as configured, so you can fine-tune the auto-scroll accordingly. Just like in the Android version, you can fine-tune the auto-scroll with a scroll coefficient, which is set in this section. It allows you to match the scrolling behavior from your Windows device, even if the screen resolution on your iOS or Mac device is different. So, instead of adjusting each song individually, you just set this coefficient to align the display and scrolling speed with your Windows setup. In addition to scroll speed and pixel step settings, you can also configure a delayed start, just like in the Windows or Android versions. It's off by default, but I'll set it to 3 seconds now. I return to the start of the song, click on the auto scroll icon, and you'll see a countdown before the scrolling begins. This works the same way as in the Windows version. This icon toggles between 1 or 2 columns. This icon temporarily disables the capo setting. If the song has a capo and is transposed, clicking this will show the song without the capo. Next, we have arrow icons to skip to the next or previous song. Clicking them navigates through the song list. If you're at the beginning of the list, it will indicate there are no previous songs. The navigation respects the current sorting, filtering settings. For example, if you're viewing only songs from one artist, these buttons will switch only between that artist's songs. Then we have 3 icons for transposing songs. You can transpose up or down in semitone steps, and the chords will update accordingly. There's also a reset button that returns the song to its original key. Next are playback icons. You can attach an audio file to each song, and play it back with this icon. If an audio track is attached, it will also be indicated in this section. The play icon works the same here as in the menu. You can toggle this floating panel icon in the settings. Scroll down and select Show Floating Panel. You can turn this icon on or off. I'll keep it on for now. We'll go back to the song and show how playback works. Let's click to start playback. We can use the pause and stop buttons. There's an icon that starts both auto scroll and audio playback simultaneously. I'll set the display to one column again, press this icon, and both scrolling and playback start together. If delayed start is enabled, it will count down before starting both. So you can see that the automatic scrolling of the text has started, and the playback started automatically as well. The next two icons are used to zoom in and out of the song, so you can very quickly zoom in or out. When I set it to 2 columns, it also works for 2-column view, so I can easily adjust the song to fill the entire screen. And this last icon is used to open an external file. If a song has an additional image attached, or for example, a PDF with sheet music, this button will open the attached document. You can also switch between songs using swipe gestures. If you swipe from the left edge toward the center or from the right edge, the songs will switch. So this is how you switch between songs, or back again. The app supports more such gestures, and all of them are described on our website in the section for iOS. There, you'll find a PDF document listing all available gestures. Let me show you another interesting gesture. If I double tap the song with my finger or with the mouse, the top bar hides and the program display becomes even larger. So I tap here, and you can see that the song display got even bigger. Let's now describe this option. Here we have quick transposition if you want to select a specific key directly. So for example, if I want to play this song in G major, I just click, and you can see that the song is quickly transposed. So this is how you can quickly transpose songs. Or you can use the buttons we showed earlier. If a chord is shown in red, that means it's not in your chord database, or you've switched to a database, like for ukulele or banjo, in which that chord isn't available. Other options in the program can be found under this icon, and we'll go through them now. Just like with the icon buttons, you can transpose down or up, return to the original key, temporarily disable the capo, and switch between 1 or 2 columns. Here, we also have audio playback options, stopping the audio or completely stopping both playback and scrolling. You can enable automatic audio playback plus scrolling and open an external file. This menu corresponds to the icon buttons above. If you are on a smaller device like an iPhone and you don't have space for all the icons, you can disable some icons. But you can always use this panel where all icons are still available. Another feature we have here is the notepad. Open it like this, and you can write notes related to songs or your databases. These notes sync with the Windows version. So if you transfer your data via the cloud, your notes will be there too. For example, I can write, I play this song in G, and save it. The note is saved, and when I switch songs and go back to notes, the text is still there. Another option is song details. When you open this section, you'll see some extra info. How the song is configured, whether an audio file is attached, tempo, capo setting, custom columns, whether it's marked as new, internal ID, and also the path to your data on disk. The last option here is edit. I'll click Edit Song. Most editing is done in the main Windows version, but you can make some changes here too, like transposition or text edits, without needing to re-import from Windows. You can modify the title, artist, assign a list, write a note, change scrolling speed, capo setting, and directly edit the song text. With the plus, minus buttons, you can make a permanent transposition, because as you may know from the main version, we support both permanent and temporary transposition, So here you set the permanent one. Once you click save, the app remembers it for that song. If you use only the earlier transposition buttons, that change is not saved. But the one made in the Edit Song tab is saved for that specific song, so now, I'll change the transposition to E minor. Click Save, the song is saved. And when I go back, the song is in E minor. Now let's return to the song list, and go over what we can do here. There are several buttons. I'll start with this one, Database Selection. In the iOS and macOS version, you can have unlimited databases. And I currently have several that I can switch between. There's also a delete icon, so if you want to remove a database, you always have that option. If I click it, the app asks if I really want to delete it. I won't delete mine now and will select the database I want to use. You can also filter songs by lists, just like in the Windows version. I only have one list here, my band. But if you sort your songs into categories like country, rock, etc., you can switch between them here. You can also choose to see only new songs or all songs. So for example, I'll select New, and only that one shows up. Or I'll choose All Songs, or only the ones in My Band. This mobile version also supports playlists like all other versions. When you import your playlists, you can select them from this tab and only songs in that playlist will be shown. Just like with databases, you can delete playlists from here. The last icon related to song control is the search function. If I click it, a gray search bar appears, and I can type in a song title or artist, and it will filter songs accordingly. For example, if I want all songs with the word good, I type that, and only matching songs are shown. You can search with or without diacritics, and by both title and artist. So when I type Miraf, it shows matching songs. Or if I type 10, it finds only that specific song. So this is a very fast filtering tool you can turn on and off. Now we'll move to the Settings tab. The program settings are quite rich. In the first part, we have the Display tab, where you can enable or disable various parts of the song display as you prefer. For example, you can hide the chords, the artist, or the song title, hide the notes or labels, or adjust the text indentation. You can also toggle your notes or tablatures, text highlighting, and all your custom colors, display of images, capo information, original key, highlighted repetitions, and also metronome information such as its settings. You can choose to show chord diagrams. I'll demonstrate that. If I turn them off and return to the song, you'll see the song is now displayed without chord symbols. You can access these settings either directly from the song detail view or from the global settings. They are the same, so you can switch between them easily. Next, there's an option to allow extra spaces in the text. This only affects how chords are displayed within the lyrics. You can also toggle free chord diagrams using the CH tag or turn off chord indices. Additionally, you can choose to display chord diagrams at the bottom. Let's try that. I'll set the option to show chord diagrams and also choose to hide the performer and the song title. When I return to the song, you'll see the display has been updated according to these settings. Now I want to hide the tablature as well, so I go back to the settings and turn off tablatures. When I return, only the plain text remains, just as I configured it. Now let's take a look at the font settings. Just like you can toggle parts of a song, here you can also customize font sizes for each section individually. You can either set font sizes for each part separately or use the global font size adjustment, where you can increase or decrease all fonts by +1, +2, or -1, -2 steps, or reset to default values. For example, if I reset everything to default values and switch to the song, you'll see the text is now quite small. Let me go back and increase the font size by +2. you'll see the font gets larger. You can also choose the font style, Arial, Times New Roman, or Courier. For instance, if I pick the second option, you'll notice the font changes accordingly. That's how you can customize the base font. As we mentioned for font sizes, under the Colors tab, you can change the color of nearly every part of the app. Let's say I don't want red chords anymore. I can switch them to blue. Note that this color selection panel may vary depending on your operating system, iOS versus macOS. But the concept is the same: pick your preferred colors. I'll also choose red for labels. When I return to the song, you'll see chords in blue and labels in red. You can also make text bold or, for instance, display chord diagrams in lighter colors on a dark background. Besides song settings, you can customize other visual elements too, like the color of the audio player, song list background, app background, icon colors, etc. So you can tailor the app precisely to your needs. The color settings section is highly flexible, allowing you to adjust nearly every part of the app interface. To make switching settings easier, just like on the Windows or Android version, you can use Appearances. Go to the Appearances tab. By default, you have white, black, and blue appearances available. But you can fully customize, edit, and switch between appearances. In the mobile version, you can have up to 5 custom appearances. For example, if I select the black appearance and return to the app, the song will now display in dark mode. If I select the blue appearance, you'll see the color scheme change accordingly. Once you've changed a setting, say I want green chords in the blue appearance, I'll choose green for chord color. Return to the song, and then save this configuration as a new appearance. Click the Save icon, and the appearance will be stored. You can now switch between your original blue appearance with blue chords and your new appearance with green chords. Although we call this tab Appearances, it actually saves all your settings, color schemes, display settings, song sorting preferences, ratings, and so on. Everything is included in your appearance profile. Let's say I switch back to the white appearance and decide to delete one of my custom appearances. I can click the delete icon, and it's removed. Now I'm back to the default white appearance. Another section includes transposition options. Just like on the Windows or Android version, you can set your preferred transposition method here. You can choose between Standard European, American, Sharp Notation, Flat Notation, or Custom Transpositions. You also have the option to convert chords between B and H, as known in Czech, German notation. You can decide whether to transpose freestanding chords or automatically transpose notes. You can also set notes to be displayed in lowercase letters. If you choose Custom Transposition, the app will use that as the basis for behavior. For instance, if you've saved a custom transposition with a specific song, using sharps for one, flats for another, the app will automatically apply those preferences without you needing to adjust anything manually. We've already mentioned font settings, automatic text scrolling, scroll speed factor, and delayed start. These options are also available here. You can also customize how chords are shown, as upper index, in line with text, or above the text. For instance, if I choose Above Text, and return to the song, you'll see the chords now appear above the lyrics. Another option is chord customization. I can choose to either leave all chords in their original form, or convert them all to uppercase or lowercase letters. Similarly, you can decide how to display the notes, whether you want them in the text or as upper index. Now let's see how to work with ratings. You have several options here. You can display the rating above the first line, below the first line, below the second line, which is usually the artist, or at the end of the song. Here, you choose how you want to display the song list. By default, I have it set to show the song title and artist, but you can change it, for example, to show only the song title and the list. So you see, when I switch back to your list, it shows me the song title and the list I have, so you can also change this. You can also decide if the title and artist appear on separate lines, on the same line, or with the artist on the left and the song title on the right. Additionally, you can choose whether to display the song title first and then the artist or vice versa. So here, I switch this setting, which concerns the settings for a specific song. Select a song, and you see that the artist is displayed first, followed by the song title. You can also choose how to sort songs in the list, for example, by song, key, or artist. If you use the default setting, songs will be imported as they were exported in your Windows version. Another important tab is text wrapping. The program either works with a fixed size or with text wrapping. I have quite a high resolution on this device, so you might not see this well, but if you use a smaller iPhone, you can set text wrapping there. If I had a song displayed in one column with fixed size, the song would be very wide and horizontal scroll bars would appear to move the song left or right, but if I set it to wrapping instead of fixed size, the song adapts to the page width and the text will wrap accordingly. Another option is that if you do not automatically define the character after a label but leave it to the program, you have the option to choose the character to appear after the label. Now I select to automatically add a dot after the label, and when I switch to song, you can see the dot appears after the label. It's good not to save these characters but to change them later if needed. You already know this from the Windows version. Another option is to specify the source of your audio files. You can choose either from the MP3 directory or the MP3 playback directory. You are familiar with this setting from the Windows version. Another option is to adapt the song to the full width. If enabled, the song fits the entire page width, or, if you have a large font, it shrinks to fit the page. If you have a small font, the song will not enlarge because it assumes the song will fit on the screen. But if you have a large font and it doesn't fit, this setting adjusts the song to the full page width. Similarly, you can also adjust your images. You can enable or disable searching with or without diacritics. I recommend leaving the default option without diacritics because you don't have to worry about accents or special characters. Another important feature is that the program does not automatically go to sleep when your song is displayed, but you can enable this for the song list so the screen doesn't sleep there either. We also talked about the floating panel, which you enable in this section, as we showed earlier. Here you can enable or disable gestures. This allows you to double-click a song to hide the top icons, and double-click again to show them. You can also enable or disable switching with finger swipes. In this setting, you can force screen rotation on or off. The screen rotates automatically, but you can lock it to landscape or portrait mode. There is also your variable settings, which you know from the Windows version, where you set variables var1 to var15. Here, you can specify text that appears before and after the capo or before the original key. You can also set tags for your color names, as known from the Windows version. For example, you can mark parts sung by boys, girls, or choir. You just enter your variables as you want them. Then there is remote control, which we'll look at later in this video course. Then there are system messages where the program reports errors, info, or important settings. When you contact technical support, you can copy these messages and send them to support. Another very important tab is database download. When opened, you enter the first 12 characters of your registration number to connect to our cloud. If you transfer songs and playlists via the cloud, just press the import button and the data downloads. This works the same as in the Android or Windows versions. This way, you download your databases, playlists, and settings. The last tab is Language Settings, where you can choose the language based on your app settings or force English or Czech. Now, let's look at the program structure as stored in the operating system. I'll close the Song window and open Finder, which shows folders used by SongBook. On different devices, this folder may be located differently, but I'll show you a reliable way to access it. When I open this tab and select Go to Folder, then go to Library, Containers, Miraf SongBook, Data, Documents, you can see we reached the folder for Miraf SongBook. Here you have your databases, external files, stored images, audio files, audio playbacks, playlists, program settings, appearances, and a working folder. If you don't want to use Miraf Cloud for transfer but want to transfer your databases manually, you can copy your data here using Finder or a file manager. This folder structure matches the Windows and Android versions. If I open this database folder, I also see a backup folder, used to save copies of databases downloaded from the cloud for safety. Switching to the playlist folder, you see your playlists as shown in the playlist list. This is how you access the structure. You can transfer databases in several ways, but the easiest is via our cloud. You save your data on the cloud in Windows and import it here in Miraf SongBook using your registration number. Alternatively, you can transfer files manually via flash drive or cloud storage, ideally iCloud, and copy them to the appropriate folders. Databases to databases, MP3 to the MP3 folder, etc. Next, I'll show how to work with various instruments. I've set the song to 2 columns for better viewing and enabled chords for a standard guitar. But I can choose another instrument in Settings, where some presets are available. This matches the Windows version exactly. So if you use mandolin, banjo, ukulele, etc., the settings are the same. Your custom chord settings also transfer automatically to this iOS, macOS mobile version. So if you edit chords, they update automatically. For example, I switch to ukulele chords, and the chords in the song change accordingly. Similarly, you can switch to banjo or mandolin. The program also supports keyboard shortcuts, listed on our website for iOS and macOS. If you have a keyboard connected, you can control the program remotely. You can also use devices that send keyboard shortcuts automatically, such as foot pedals. Details are on our website. As mentioned earlier, this video shows how the program works on macOS, but the iOS version looks and behaves identically. Switching songs works the same on iOS, and program control settings are the same. The only difference is the Finder path to files and folders, which is a bit different. Otherwise, descriptions and settings are identical. Now let's look at remote control. It works the same as on Android and Windows. In Settings, you find Remote Control, where you can set if the program sends or receives data. By default, everything is off. I can set it to send data, enter the IP addresses to which commands are sent, and see my current IP at the top. Enter the IP address and a password. I can also specify if text scrolling or audio playback starts automatically, but only if the program is receiving data. After setting this and restarting the program, it will send data. Clicking a song on one device will show it on the device with the matching IP address. Similarly, you can set the program to receive data. No IPs are needed here, only the password. You can enable automatic text scrolling and audio. After restarting, remote control starts working. More detailed videos are on our website. You can check if the program is sending or receiving data by the blinking icon shown at startup, signaling data transfer. If you don't need this feature, it's best to disable it in the remote control settings, so the program neither sends nor receives data. Thank you for watching and goodbye.